Hey, hi. So you have probably joined Upwork and been there for a while, and maybe you have tried pitching on a lot of projects but without any luck. Maybe you don't get even a single reply, and this is a serious problem, and maybe it's really frustrating. Or maybe you get really bad clients, like people who tell you they'll pay you $20, $50 for a Facebook clone, or they want to create a full mobile app, or a logo design for $10, or anything like that. You have tried everything from sending as many pitches as possible to reducing your prices. Maybe you even offered to work for free, and still maybe nobody is even replying to you. So first thing is, before moving forward, I want to reveal you why reducing prices is actually not improving your chances but hurting. I want to illustrate with a small story. I will promise you the solution to all your problems later in the video. Just let's keep things light, because I know you're already frustrated looking for your problems. But it's a very common thing for people to travel abroad, and when they travel abroad, what they do is they go to a country where people probably don't speak their language. And when they're ordering food or getting into a taxi, this is a very common thing that people do, which is they probably say something in English. Very commonly they say, do you want to eat? Maybe they're trying to talk to a local, and they're like, do you want to eat? And the opposite person doesn't understand it, because of course they don't speak your language. So this person, instead of trying to maybe even point at food or try to show how to eat food, what they'll do is they'll start yelling. They'll say, do you want to eat? Eat. Do you want to eat? And they just keep doing this, and as they keep doing this, in their head what they're doing is they're putting more effort, and they're getting frustrated, and the person opposite can sense it. The person opposite is like, why is he being rude to me? He's yelling at me, he's shouting at me. And even the person who was probably friendly before because you were smiling, now is frustrated, and they probably walk away. And or they are like, this person is too rude and I don't want to speak to them, right? Now what is happening here is somebody is putting more and more effort, thereby shouting, hoping that it's going to work. And actually they're hurting their chances of even making a communication work. And this is surprisingly common thing that I saw when I was traveling. The reason I'm telling you this story is that this is kind of what's happening when you try to work for free, or when you try to reduce the prices over and over again, right? It's not exactly the analogy, but what I'm trying to say is, by doing that, you're trying to hurt your chances of success, even though I know you deeply want to succeed, and logically, super logically, it feels like you're doing the right thing, right? Now, here's the promise. There is money to be made, even in millions. You can go ahead and search for freelancers and see how many of them on the top are just keep getting jobs again and again. How many companies, big companies, are moving to Upwork over and over again every day as we speak. Upwork as a platform is growing. Remote jobs are growing. Gig economy is growing. More and more companies are doing remote jobs. More and more companies don't want to have full-time employees. So this industry as a whole is improving and going bigger, right? You can make enough money to travel the world, live free, make a good to great living as much as you want. Like doing great, like maybe you want to make $10,000 to $20,000 a month. That's going to be a little hard, but doing something like making $500 to $2,000 a month is not that hard if you just put in and follow the right steps, right? And that's what I'm going to show you. So I started 3 years ago in a completely new field. I dropped everything I was an expert in for 10 to 12 years, 10 years actually, exactly. And I just dropped it because all I wanted to do was be free. All I wanted to do was be free, right? And so I said, what is it that I can do to be free? So I started learning this completely new thing, moved to a field that is completely outside my experience. So I started at zero. I couldn't go and say, hey, I actually did this, right? So let's go forward. Let's go forward to understanding the problem. The problem, why aren't you winning jobs on Upwork? Why? So there are two parts to it first. So there is you and there is the client. First thing you need to understand is, this might be a little disheartening, is that you could be perfect. You could be perfect, you could do the right thing, you could be the most experienced person, you could have said the correct things, and yet if you don't win a job, it's not you. It's just not you. It's the client, right? There are all kinds of people on Upwork, all kinds of people. From my experience, limited experience, I can tell you, there are all kinds of people. There are the good ones. There are the bad ones first. Let's go to the bad ones. The bad ones are the not so serious ones. I call them one-day spikes of inspiration. People who just are like continuously wanting to do something. They have the money at hand. They just want some things to happen. They want to crack something. And most of the times, they just look at it and go, Asia is where cheap labor is, and they usually live in some country that is not Asia, right? And they're like, I'm just going to throw $5 to $10 at somebody, make them work, and see if I can create something out of it. There's nothing wrong with it. People like these are necessary. At the same time, they're not serious. They're trying. They're at the early stages. They're probably not motivated enough. They didn't think through it enough, because for them, it's like something that is super easy to try. So they're like, let me just go ahead and try this, right? And it's like the same thing. You might have gone through similar things in your life where you just wake up, you have a motivation to do a side project or something, and then maybe you never continued, right? Things like that. So these are similar people. And there are retired rich people who are bored. Boredom is a big deal, where these people again have the money. Maybe they even have a day job, or they have a existing business going, but they're bored because there's no growth in that business and they want to go and do something. These people are usually scattered with focus. And then there are kids. Seriously, I'm not even kidding. There are 18-year-old kids who aspire to be the next Zuckerberg or whoever it is, and these people just come and try things. Now, there is nothing wrong about any of these people. Don't end up hating them, right? I'm going to tell you strategies to deal with these people. Don't end up hating them just because they are also trying to figure out, just like you, just like me. We are all in this to try to figure out. But the problem is, these people are not going to be somebody who you can rely on to support your living. That's just how it is. Unless there is a method that, again, I'm going to reveal later. I'm going to take notes about this because that's the method I just want to reveal for you. So how to make money from scattered focus people. Let's call them that, right? Or kids. Right? This is something I'm going to reveal. So another thing I promised you that I'll reveal is why reducing the price is hurting your chances, right? So these are two things I'm going to reveal. Okay. Now I talked about the bad clients. Now let's go to the good clients. The good clients are people with good focus. They are not going to give up. They have set their mind on something. They have already gained some traction, and they're on the path where they feel positive that no matter how much I fail, I'm going to try and make my idea work or my project work or something like that. Or so these are starters, people who are in their early stages trying to do something, right? And then you have solopreneurs who are one-man companies, maybe consultants and things like that. They're trying to outsource some of their work. These people are sometimes tech savvy, sometimes not tech savvy. Then you have small business people, like people with companies with 10, 20 employees. They have good money. Sometimes they have $1 million to $2 million. They make $2 million to something, few millions a year, and they pay a bunch of salaries. And then you have company managers for these companies, and then you have CEOs, CTOs, CMOs of certain companies, right? Sometimes even these people have side projects that they want to pursue, but they are really serious about it, right? Now, all these type of good clients I told you are mostly not tech savvy. So they are going to be like aliens. It's like going to a new country where you don't know how to talk their language. I'll tell you why that is, right? That's also part of the problem. I'll tell you why. And then you have your type of clients who I don't recommend taking. These are the people who are technical managers of a company. Let's say there is a big company, there is a startup, there's a tech startup that needs developers, designers, or anything. Maybe these guys know exactly how to hire you, how to talk to you, and they're just going to be your perfect audience, because of course you already have been working in a company. Maybe you managed to impress recruiters, you managed to impress your peers. Other developers and designers know that you are a great developer, you are a great designer. So these are the similar people. These are tech leads, design leads, and things like that. Or these are tech startups, right? So there are three types of clients. One is the bad ones, not so serious, one day spikes, kids, scattered focus. Other is the good ones. There are two types. One is the people who are alien to you, who you're going to have problems communicating, which is what we're going to solve. The second one is people who you are going to be like easily pairing up with. All right. Now we know all of this. And the reason I told you all of this is that there is all these possibilities on the other side of the client. So even if you do everything perfect, if the client is not the right fit, things will not work, right? Now hearing this, it's very natural that you might feel, fuck, like this means everything I do, there is no hope, which means there is no point in putting all the effort towards anybody because it's not in my control, right? And yes, this is the case. And this is going to be hard to deal with because you have been probably dealing with finite, predictable systems all your life. What I'm trying to say is you've been dealing with computers all your life, right? I have been in the same space. You're probably somebody who's really good with computers, really good with computers, designs and things like that, but you're not really good with people, right? That's the problem here, because people are not computers. Computers you can control, right? It doesn't have a mind on its own. You provide some input and it happens. That's why you write programs. When you do everything right, you know there is going to be an output, correct? And the same goes for all kinds of software. But at the same time, people, businesses, real world people, it's not the case. They come with different emotions, they come with different states. Now, does that mean all hope is lost? Absolutely not. There is a system where you can make your living. I am a living example of that. Let's move forward with that, right? Okay. I hope until this point it's not fluff. It's not something I'm saying to just not make sense. I want you to really, if you don't understand until this point, I want you to pause the video, go back and maybe listen and take notes and really reflect on these things to really get your head set on how to approach these problems. Okay. Now, what are the other problems? Let's come to your side. Now, let's say the client is perfect. Okay. I'll tell you how to filter the right client, how to attract the right client and all of that. Let's say all of that side is perfect. What can you do? What could be your problem? Yes, one of the problems is rating, right? It's just one of the problems. And even if you don't have ratings, there is a way for you to get projects. I'll tell you how, because of course I started from zero, right? And I got a client, I got a project, I got my ratings. And in the early days, I had a system where I could get projects regularly, okay? And so that I slowly went to rising talent, and then I went to go forward to a top rated person, which I am right now. I made more than $30,000, and there are people who have made $1 million, right? And they just live on Upwork forever. And it's great because once I'm top rated, once I'm on Upwork, my life can depend on it, except if Upwork decide to close your profile, and that's a big risk, of course, which is why I have a website, but we are getting too far ahead of ourselves. Okay, so one is the rating. The other one, the main problem, the rating is something you cannot control, right? You cannot control, because in the beginning you are going to have 0 ratings. It's just how it's going to be. Okay, but what is the other one? You can bring in trust without ratings. So rating is basically trust. Okay, when somebody tells you, oh, you don't have rating, what does that mean? It means that I don't trust you. I don't think you're capable of. But the truth is you are capable of, and you know it yourself. You're intelligent, you're smart, you've done these projects. You probably even offered them that, hey, just give me a fucking chance and I will do it. But they're not giving you that, and it can be frustrating. So how do you communicate trust? The way you communicate trust is go back to your managers that you worked with. Go back to your ex-bosses, right? Go back to all these people, not your colleagues, not your friend, girlfriend, or people like that. Go back to people you have actually worked with, worked under. Ask them to write a testimonial for you and tell them that you want to freelance, all right? Or tell them that, can you write a testimonial for me? Just, you don't have to say why. right? I'm just collecting testimonials as a investment for my future career profile. Maybe you want to put it in your resume. So things like that. Hopefully you had good relationships. If you don't have any good relationships, it's going to be a bit hard, but it's still possible. Okay, it's just one of those things. What is the other thing to communicate trust? Other thing to communicate trust is basically putting yourself out there. Like, this is a way I'm putting myself out here, right? So you know I'm a legit person. If you didn't see this video and if you just saw my profile, there is a big difference in how I come across to you, because all your impression will be based on my profile. It's just based on text. The moment it's like it's like looking at a person on Tinder and then meeting them in real life, and you're like, oh my god, like there's such a big difference. I thought you were like this, but that's how much difference it makes. So make videos, write blog articles to show that you communicate, you understand, and things like that. So when somebody comes to looking for you, there are clients who will actually Google you, right? Or you can say just Google me. And when they go out there and they see that you have a YouTube channel, or there is a small, even a one-page blog, right, where you have written some words or something like that, and they are able to see that, yes, this person is legit. Now, there is a small caveat there. If you're a technical person or if you're a design person, and if you go too much into specifics about your beautiful icon designs or your beautiful code or some technical tutorials to say how to fix Apache servers, module problems or something like that, your client has a high likelihood of not understanding, unless you're trying to attract clients who are technical, right? But one of the things that you need to understand is that money is not when you attract technical clients, right? The money is when you attract non-technical clients. That's how the world is. The reason the technical clients are there to hire you, because they hire you and then they are being paid by somebody, and then after that there is a marketing team, and then there is a CEO, and then there is a client. So the client's money is going to be shared by all these layers, and you are going to be at the bottom of this. It's only when you learn to attract the non-technical clients and communicate to them and get projects, you are going to make majority or chunk of the money. This is just how it goes. Yes, there are few cases where maybe you work with companies like Google or huge funded startups where they have specialized technology, and then yes, that is also possible, but the likelihood is pretty low. Okay. So now we talked about your side of the problem, your rating, your trust. I told you to get testimonials, right? And or you put yourself out there. You make a video, you write blog posts. You don't think about it too much. When you write blog posts, don't write too much technical things. Be clear about who you're attracting, right? But in any case, write something. Even if you don't write non-technical stuff, write technical stuff, and it's going to help you probably attract remote jobs in huge companies who know that this person is somebody who knows how to write documentation, right? Because you're going to improve your communication, your speed of communication, your speed of article writing, which is all the soft skills that people are looking for in huge companies, not just your technical or design skills, okay? All right, now we have two sides of the problem. One is a client, one is you, and I told you some. So here are some actionable tips. Finally, at 18th minute, I'm sorry you had to listen to all of that, but it's very important. All of that is important for you to actually go forward and be like, understand, okay, why is these problems happening? And now how do I tackle? Now that I understand, why am I not winning? There is the client, there is me, under me there are these parts, and for the client, XYZ parts, right? Now, there's the final component of you, which is your presentation, right? Your presentation is basically your profile and the message or your pitch that you give when you first go, when you approach a client, when you pitch on a project, when you send a cover letter, when you answer their questions, right? This is the second part. Right? Now, how important it is? This is the most important part, right? And your presentation, which is the major component, is your profile and your first message, is a mix that's going to probably have the power to attract all kinds of clients. And it's very important, but it's the least thing. It's the thing that separates successful freelancers from unsuccessful freelancers, because I was in that same space. I would probably just try to be more smart in terms of technical skills or design skills. So I would be like, I learn more techniques or more code or more technologies or things like that, and just be like, holy shit, like I learned PHP, I can do JavaScript, I can do React, I can do HTML, I can do Grunt, whatever, right? But I'm not attracting clients. What the fuck, right? But when you learn to craft your presentation, there is a skill you can learn, and it's called copywriting, right? It's called copywriting. It's going to take some time, but there are shortcuts. There are shortcuts. You could probably learn it in a week, but it's going to blow your mind when you put in copywriting techniques, right? When you understand what your clients are looking for. So that's the thing, right? Now, this is the second part. Now, what you're going to do is that your go-to strategy that I recommend that will work for you is this. First, try to attract clients who are serious, who are having a problem that is immediate, right? And attract clients who are new to Upwork. Every day, just like how new freelancers are joining Upwork, there are new clients coming to Upwork every single day. And these people do not even understand Upwork. They are so not tech savvy that they don't know what job ratings are. They don't know what the success scores are, right? Don't go for the clients who have been hiring on Upwork forever and have a huge business. Why? Because they don't want to take risk. You are a risk, right? You might be the best person out there, but so is another person who has higher ratings and he probably has a lot of job history. He's a safer option, right? And these clients do not mind paying $10, $20 per hour extra, because when they are in a business, they have a lot more money to spare. That's how the nature of business people are, right? They have struggled hard to get to the place, and because they have that money, they're going to go for the safest option. And you as a newbie are always a risk unless there is no availability. Whereas a new client coming in is going to look at you and be like, okay, you know, if you are the right person, if you talk to them the right way, I'll tell you what the right way is, right? So when a new person comes to Upwork, you have to handhold them like a newbie. You cannot throw technical jargons at them. You cannot really go and just start selling yourself, which is what the number one mistake people do. You talk their language. You talk in terms of their business problems, their revenue, what are the problems that business owner has? Peace of mind, they want reliability, they want communication, they want somebody who can understand technical problems in a non-technical sense. So that's going to be hard because that's something you hated all your life probably, but unfortunately you have to learn that skill, and it's a beautiful skill to learn. When you learn that skill, when you stop hating on people and say, these people are stupid, they don't understand even these little concepts, you just turn it around and be like, how do I become good enough to explain these things to my grandma, right, in a way that they understand? And it is possible. It's not impossible, guys. It is possible. All you have to do is be a little patient, stop telling that the other person is stupid, right, and look at it like a problem that you can solve. That's all. That is all, guys, right? So you go back, you first have to learn a little bit of copywriting, so you don't just throw a bunch of technical jargons on your thing, and instead talk about plain terms. Say that you make websites. Maybe the person knows a little bit of a technology. Maybe they know Wix, maybe they know Shopify, maybe they know Squarespace, maybe they know WordPress. Then do that, no problem. But don't go and say, I make Cakewalk, PHP, React. Not a single business owner in the world knows that, like, unless tech startups, you know, they probably heard of React somewhere in a conference and they're like, okay, maybe React is a great thing and I've read that. For my idea, React is the technology, so let me find React developers. So what you do is you talk to them like in terms of their words, right? So the first thing to take out of this video is get testimonials, put that on your profile. Put that on your profile, actually do that, and it builds a lot of confidence. And say, so and so person who is the manager where I worked wrote this, right? That's going to be a big standout because not a lot of developers do that, not a lot of designers do that, right? Second thing is put yourself out there. Make 10 videos, right? have a challenge, set a challenge to yourself, make a video for a day for 100 days, right? And that's how long you have to try for something before you give up, right? It's a gym or whatever it is. 3 months is okay, 100 days is okay. Start doing something today. Don't double guess, don't double judge yourself, don't think you're not good enough. Just do it, just like Nike, just do it and put it out there, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. Done is better than perfect. And perfection is the enemy of profitability of everything. It's a quote by Mark Cuban. It's beautiful. I tell that to myself every time I get stuck in life. So do not let perfection hold you back, because you're already perfect, whether you know it or not. I know you hold yourself to high standards, but you are amazing and you are already perfect the way you are. You just have to find your right match. That's all. You don't have to live up to somebody else's standard, right? So just put yourself, more of yourself out there. Third thing is understand your client and go for the newbie clients, right? And how to make money from scattered focused people or kids, for example, right? Start selling simple things, right? I came from a game development background and app development background. My aspiration was to build huge systems. I loved architecting. I loved doing class diagrams. I don't know if somebody out there is actually out there doing it. I remember I wanted to be an architect. That was my biggest thing. I wanted to be an architect who designs engines, reusable systems, SDKs, and become huge in huge companies. And I never even thought my life would be here, right? Now, so for me, when I first heard that I could make money from WordPress websites, I was like, no way that people are paying so much for just installing, pushing a few buttons and dragging and dropping and configuring things. No way. I was like, I refuse to believe that somebody would pay me for things that require no code. Because for me, I was always thinking that things that paid a lot have to be more complicated. I never thought of it in terms of what value does it add to the client, right? I used to do huge programs that could probably solve no problems to a client, because maybe I make a custom website that's going to be hard to manage, hard to maintain, even though it's beautiful, even though probably it's like 5 times faster, right? It's cleaner, clean code and all of that. It's bug free, it's future proof and all. But the thing is, you need to understand, a startup guy doesn't need all of that. They just need a WordPress website. Similarly, maybe all they need is for you to install a particular package and customize it a little bit, right? Maybe all they need is for you to download some templates from Envato Elements, modify it a little bit and give it to them. That's it, right? Maybe in the beginning you cannot design a $1,000 logo, maybe, right? Maybe in the beginning all they need is somebody to just come in, throw them 70 options at their face and say, pick this, and give them a logo in 30 minutes and charge $50 for it. 30 minutes, $50. Doesn't sound like a good deal? Yes, it's not something that you can brag to your designers, but done right, you can generate $3,000 out of this, right? But you have to really decide, are you here so that you can brag to your designers and developer friends, or are you here to make a living and actually help people who are happy? Because trust me, these people, when you talk their language and when you actually give them something they're happy about, they are going to probably give you reviews that is going to be more glowing. They're like, oh, this person just understood my requirements and he made something and I'm so happy with my logo, right? Even if it is just $50. Now, we have covered too many things, but I hope there were some action points out there. And the last thing is, learn how to write your profile. Learn how to do copywriting, right? I will make more videos in the future about how to write copywriting for Upwork profile, especially for developers and designers, so that you have a quick hacky template about that is probably million times better than, not million, 100 times better than your current profile, because you probably don't understand how important your profile is and how important your message is. And the next thing is, treat this as a numbers game. This is not a finite system. Okay, you have dealt with finite predictable systems, which is you worked with computers where you do something, you get results. Here, because the other half of the equation is not controllable, you simply have to just treat it as a numbers game. What does that mean? It means you will simply have to try more. right? I know a person who sent 50 proposals before they landed their first good website project. I know a person who sent 35 proposals before they landed their first really good coding project, right? So you have to just have a system, and you cannot spend too much time perfecting each of it because it's not a computer. You have to just rely on replicatable systems, right? You have to rely on, like, have a system where you can be like 15 minutes for a proposal, and you need to have a structure, right? You need to write down how you send a proposal, how you talk to a client, and you need to keep having repeatable systems so that you sit in the morning 8 o'clock until 12 o'clock, you keep doing it, and then before 12 o'clock you have 10 proposals sent, right? Or even more or even lesser, it depends. This is something that's going to be a little harder. Now all of this could be a bit overwhelming for you, but remember, it just has to work once. Once it works, the beauty is that it's less like a computer. Once your system works, sorry, the power just went and came back. Once your system works, the beauty is that it's going to be working for a long time. That's the beauty. And it's really like an investment. It's like an investment. It's like a reliable pillar that's never going to go out. And then your life is going to be different because you don't have to rely on a job. You're going to be free. You can stop working whenever you want. You can work whenever you want. You can choose the projects you want. You can choose the kind of people you want to work with. And you can, start increasing your prices. That's a different story. I started from, I don't know, I used to be the same. I offered free work. I offered $50 projects, and these days I charge anywhere from $50 to $70 an hour, right? Sometimes just for talking to clients. And this has been my dream all my life, right? And now life has just so much more possibilities open up for me. And I honestly and sincerely wish you a good luck. If you have any problems, I take up clients, not clients, like freelancers like you for private coaching. Unfortunately, I'm not going to do it for free, right? Unless you have a very compelling case. Maybe I do a little bit of charity work, but mostly there is going to be a bit of investment. Just hit me up and contact me on my website or my email, and I'll share details with you. And I sincerely hope you succeed in your freelance dreams, and I hope to see you on the other side, where I want to have friends, who are like me. And that's kind of the motivation why I'm looking for this club of people. So I also feel like, apart from doing something where I did something to enrich my life, I want to give back to the society and make it a better place and more efficient, because ultimately I look at all of these things as just efficiency problems, right? We are operating at 0 to 1% efficiency when you have extremely talented people on one side and people who are seeking them on the other side, but because of problems in between, they're not able to connect, right? And they're both working hard. The clients are trying hard to find people, and people like you are trying hard to find clients, and you're willing to work hard, but you're not able to find it. So I want to just make the world more efficient, right? And make it more and more harmonious, so everybody is happier and coordinating. Thank you very much for your time. I did not realize I could speak straight for 35 minutes, but it did happen. Hopefully the mic didn't go bad, there was no technical problems. Then I'll just feel like, oh, it's just the most cringiest feeling in the planet. But then mistakes happen. I hope to see you again in another video. Hit like, subscribe, and leave a comment, guys. I will sincerely try to help you guys out. And share this video with others. Sincerely share this video. And the more you give to the world, the more comes back. I honestly believe that. I know it's a very woo-woo concept, but I do believe that the more you give, the more you get, right? So give without thinking, because it will come back to you. Thank you very much for watching this video. Like, comment, and share, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.